This is the PT Pintcast.
All right, Katie Sutton of PTA Plus, Drew McKay of PT Pintcast here with Skye Donovan. You were episode 100 on my show. And then have you interviewed Skye on your show?
I have not.
Is it because you dislike her or?
Absolutely not. Everyone loves Skye Donovan. Everybody loves
Not
Skye
true.
Donovan.
My children and husband would
Lots
say
of updates,
otherwise.
though, since episode 100.
A lot of updates since episode 100. All right, so you were quoted today. So you gave the opening remarks here at the APTA Future of Rehab Therapy Summit, as vice presidents do, and you dropped a quote, and obviously it resonated enough that someone who was planning to speak later on today changed their remarks.
Crazy.
And then quote dropped you. What was that quote?
The quote was, "Innovation is not just a buzzword, it is a responsibility." And I just kind of thought about it for a little while because the whole theme of the conference is innovation, and it's a completely overused word.
It is. In the last couple of years, it's a buzzword.
And I think people use it in the wrong context, right? And I also think innovation doesn't need to be something new. It's just a new use of something, right?
So I'd love this because there's no right or wrong answer. But how do you? And it doesn't have to be perfect, and we can workshop it here. But how do you define innovation?
I love how you just said workshop it.
We could workshop it, could wordsmith it. But how would you define it? Because I agree with you, it doesn't have to be something new. And I can set you up. So I worked for David Petrino at Mount Sinai, and he had the word innovation in his job title, and he defined innovation as you find a problem that a lot of people look at it and say, that's not my problem. You own and solve that problem. That's innovative. It doesn't have to be high tech. It doesn't have to be the first time anybody thought of that idea. So I like that because I don't want to say it lowers the bar, but I feel like it brings the goalpost a little closer on how to be innovative.
Yeah, and he's way smarter than me, David Petrino. But I just think of innovation as a new way of looking at something. And it's a frame of mind, right? It's like if you are an innovative thinker, it's like, oh, hey, I am going to use X, Y, and Z to do this subset of tasks that no one else is doing it that way, right? So, and sometimes being innovative isn't the best way to do it.
Right. There's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, well, that didn't work out so well, so let me try something different. So, to me, it's just a new way of thinking about doing something. Or
I actually put it in my phone, too.
Oh.
So
what did you put in? What was the...
Yeah, well, I didn't get the whole
not a
thing,
buzzword, but a responsibility.
I got the best that I could while you were talking. I was like, oh, that's good.
So the APTA is...
So can I tell a truth about that?
Oh, please do.
Okay, so that was actually formulated for me by ChatGPT.
All right, but you were the first person to think to use AI to write a quote about innovation, and then you said it.
I mean, I was working on my prompt engineering over and over and over again, so it wasn't but I took parts that I liked and then put it together. So.
Always.
But that's invention, right? Like taking parts.
It's innovation.
It's innovation. It's taking parts of things that you like and discarding the ones that don't work or that don't need to be there.
I think you're also describing my dating profile. I don't know. I'm not sure. Although I'm married, so I shouldn't say dating profile.
PTs across the country are calling Empower EMR the easiest platform they've used. Fast, responsive, and built for real life. Try it for yourself at empoweremr.com. You didn't start your physical therapy company just to sell it off. You built it to last. At US Physical Therapy, we help owners stay local, stay in control, and add more resources than ever before. Be a partner, not a purchase. Discover the partnership model that protects what you've built. Visit usph.com and click on Strategic Partnerships.
Well, we're sitting at the Future of Rehab Therapy Summit. We talked to Drew Contreras a few weeks ago just to sort of pre-promote this. It feels like this is going to be something that the association invests in, and maybe this feels like the inaugural Future of Rehab Therapy Summit. So APTA, not just saying we should be innovative, but trying to and putting people in the room in sort of a mini incubator. It feels like this is an investment. This is a direction the APTA definitely thinks we should go. That's a question because I went really high-pitched at the end.
Go, yeah. No, 100%. So, I think a couple of things have become really clear to APTA in the past, 5 years is that there is a lot of interest from private equity, from tech companies, from even if you think about like different academic models in the treatment and payment of and investment in musculoskeletal care as well as other rehab care. So I use musculoskeletal just as like the hook, but obviously we know physical therapy is so much more. But there is so much to be gained, and not a lot of people are in this space. So I think a lot of people see the dollar signs involved, and realize that this can be a huge capital win for them. So APTA needs to really get out in front of this so that, to make sure that people are trying to do it like in the right way to solve the problems that we see as clinicians, the patients that tell us, and that we are also realizing what their issues are, so that we can help these creators and channel them in the right direction so that what they're trying to do is actually going to be meaningful, and they can also, monetize it in a good way. So, I think this is a really good time. We are a little bit late to the game, to be completely honest. So I think, this type of a format, there's still room to grow, there's still room to improve, but at least trying to have this get the right people in the room and to be open to feedback, right? Like that's another thing that we're really invested in, especially on the APTA board, is talking to people who were able to come to this and say, how can we make it better? How can we make it different? How can it be meaningful to you?
How can we make it valuable for you? Mm-hmm. You bring something to the table, so do we. How do we find where those two things cross?
And what's interesting is that this isn't the first time we've done a future of type of summit. So we've had two, I think, future of physical therapy summit, but this time we've changed it. I say we, APTA has changed it to include other rehab professionals. So we're inviting other people in to talk about this. And you said this years ago that we might have to look outside of our own profession for answers. This was a long time ago.
I don't think you, and then you might have, I remember you saying we have to. Like you didn't say we should or we can't, we have to if we don't. I mean, you even highlighted the neighbors of the new APTA headquarters. And you're saying, like, look at the people, who are the people in our neighborhood? And it's like, it's the Amazons. It's the people who are quite literally.
The Association of the Blind is their literal next door neighbor.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that is imperative. We've been talking about collaborative care for a long time, and that's the only thing that's going to move the needle. Everybody's in their silos. That's old news. But how can we move forward together, right? All these changes are even coming forward with the federal government, sometimes on a daily basis. And it's like, we are not going to get any traction on our own.
No, not
just as the physical therapy profession, but how can we bond together as rehab professionals? So that's what's been really exciting to me is, the attendance level here, we kept it to a very sort of small, so that it was like an intimate setting, which is great because then you have the opportunity to talk to almost everyone that's here. But there is a very wide variety of people.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's a wide cast of characters.
I'm excited to see if we, increase the attendance a little bit and then get, certain, percentages from all
my
the
guess is you'll do a very
disciplines.
PT thing, which is you'll ask for feedback and then change what's up next, and then it'll grow.
Maybe we should have an innovative way of asking for feedback. Maybe this is it. Maybe can people send comments to you? Audio comments?
I didn't
to
really.
the podcast?
So yes. So I haven't talked about this a lot, but I redesigned our website. I say we. I just hired a company that redesigned the website. In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little. No matter where you scroll on my ptpintcast.com, there's a microphone button that you could just hit the microphone button, record, and it sends me an email with your audio.
Oh, I'm doing that every day, every hour of every day.
And I get like I get the transcription
now
and the
that we
audio.
know.
Now that we know.
Katie, we have a new thing to do next week.
What's that?
I have an idea.
Got an email of some heavy breathing for 12 minutes? It's very odd. It's weird. A second ago, you said we're sort of late to the table, right? Is there anybody out there who was earlier that you... I know what you do, because we know each other for a long time. 10, 12? I don't know, a long time, right? 2013?
You graduated, you graduated
16,
in 2016.
So 13, I got there.
12 years.
So my guess is you've been to other organizations' events. You're also in the DC area where stuff happens. You're sort of in the area where it happens. Are other organizations doing it better? If so, who? And just like, what's an example of one or two that are doing it well?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that we're behind in terms of other organizations necessarily, unless you go internationally, right? Like, so there's, a global AI task force that was developed in Europe, right? So, like, we're behind in that aspect. But I think healthcare in general, right, in the tech space, like they are worlds ahead of us, and they have almost no boundaries. So, that is who I'm comparing ourselves to, right? And everyone now has an investment in health, because a lot of people are now realizing, after lots of critical events that have happened worldwide, like we had a pandemic, right? We have a large population that's all going through the aging process. They're realizing that their health is the most important thing to them, right?
It's kind of like the only thing you ever really own.
Right. So
outright.
And also, like, can you control it? Like, somewhat maybe, but you probably needed to start when you're in your teenage years to do all the things that you needed to do to increase your longevity. But and we're living longer. So I think people are really starting to see, right, like that they want to have their cognitive health. They want to still have an impact in their community. They want to live independently, all of those things. So the timing is right. I think it just is, we want to take care of people. We don't necessarily want to think about AI and technology or even innovation, right? So I always think to like the physical therapist and physical therapist assistant, right? We are the ones that always make it work. That's innovation, right? Like we don't think about like high tech. Like we're like, oh yeah, I can like take this TheraBand and put you in this plane and I can work this muscle and I don't even need any equipment, right? All I need is my hands and what's in my car or whatever, if you're doing, home health. But like we need to take that mindset and shift it and say, like, these are incredible opportunities that lie in front of us. We have a population that wants to live longer and is living longer, and how can we meet the demand of them feeling empowered and being able to have some, like you said, control over their lives and be able to, live every day to the fullest. And we need to embrace technology to do that. And there's these other people, like I call them the encroachers, right? Like that they're going to do it for us unless we get involved. So I think we just have to like be uncomfortable and say like, okay, we're going to throw ourselves into this tech space.
Yeah.
I literally just had that conversation with somebody right before you sat down.
Yeah. The pitch that I made was, I do a segment every once in a while called Steal This Strategy, where I'll take a marketing or a product strategy from outside of our profession or professions, and I'll sort of break it down. Like, hey, this is cool. Like, look what they're doing. I wonder how this is going to work. And I'll sort of dissect how it is going to work.
I like that you just said dissect.
I know. I was like, I just said dissect to the person who taught me anatomy. But and then I'll say how might we adapt this in rehab? And you should steal the strategy. And then I usually close with, if someone next door to you or in your town started doing this, or a company started doing this and came to your town, would you be mad they're doing it, or mad that you didn't do it sooner? Because the idea has been sitting there. Like, I just outlined it for you. You can't do all the ideas, but one of the ideas was Nike is now having this thing called Strength Labs, where they're opening up brick and mortar gyms, boutique gyms, 10 squat racks, 2 people to a squat rack, and several classes a day. So they're sort of mimicking like a CrossFit or an Orange Theory. But this is a pretty big brand in Nike, and they're saying it's repeatable, right? It's got scarcity because you can only put 20 people in the room. PTs could have employed this yesterday, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Why weren't you? Why couldn't you make it fun and gamify? Maybe you were thinking, well, I have to do it that way because that's how everybody else I was taught with has been doing that. But one of the definitions of innovation is not doing it that way and changing it. So would you be mad if Nike moved into your town and did this Nike Strength Lab? Would you be mad they did it, or did it better than you, or faster than you, or earlier than you? And I think you'd be more mad at that. Not that they did it, but that they out PT'd you.
Yeah. I mean, we don't train PTs to think about marketing and entrepreneurship and growth mindset, creativity, right? Like, it's really interesting at the university where I work, and I was like, it was not me, but it was like a genius. And it was, we were doing a consolidation exercise, and they put the College of Design and Art with the College of Business. And it works perfectly because all of them are creators. Yeah. All of them are, let's see if it works. All of them are, hold my beer. Let's see if we can get this done, right? And it's been amazing to, sort of be in a field where now, like I said, health is sexy. So they're coming to us, and they're coming to us with these ideas that, like, I would have never thought of in a million years, right? Like, altruistic, I just want to help the person, along their journey and being more independent. Whereas they're like, oh, why can't you do this or why can't you do this? And that never even sort of enters my mind. So that's where I think these sorts of seminars can even expand further and really go through like cross-cutting, like, maker, like the maker design, like that's a whole, type of thinking.
Maker Faire, Odyssey of the Mind,
Yeah.
STEAM or STEM programs.
Yeah, the more that we can talk to people, I'll say it again, outside of physical therapy is the better off that we're going to be.
Yeah, it's just people who look at the same thing completely differently.
Yeah.
And to them, it's very obvious how they're seeing it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you can't actually imagine how someone sees it different because it's difficult to see something from someone else's point of view, which is why it's so valuable.
Athelis Revenue Cycle Management gives you full visibility to your money, real-time dashboards, automated billing, and higher collections. No more guessing what's coming in. Shoot me a note and I'll get you connected today. Jimmy@ptpintcast.com.
So you are a dean now at Marymount University. So you are in a position where you could change something like that. I feel like STEM and STEAM programs are big in high school, but how could you cross-pollinate at a university? How could you take the PT students a couple times a year and pair them or mash them up with business students or design students? And would that be valuable? Would the students find it valuable?
Yeah, we actually have a very small scale program, which would be amazing to make it bigger, is we have an interior design professor, and her whole research area is on empathic design.
What is empathic again?
Ooh, yeah.
So
Like empathy?
Thinking about empathy.
Oh.
So it's like the design is based on the user. It's just user-centered design, but like also with feeling, right? So she is an interior design person, and she is like, I pick a different sort of like subpopulation every year. And she said, and I don't really know anything about it. And like, I was like, oh, well, I was 52 years old when I learned that the way that they color the different floors in a parking garage is to help you like actually remember like where your car is parked.
Wait. I was just in a garage the other day. How is like Roy G. Biv?
I mean, it's just repetitive, like whatever the color is. But there's also colors, like if you have like walls that are a certain color, like green, it actually like then deflects red. So like green walls are extremely provocative for different symptoms for different people who have autism, right? So she works with all of those kinds of things. She also does designs in houses for people that suffer with different levels of dementia. And she's like, the way that you place furniture and the way that you use colors like you do in a parking garage. Like I remembered I was on level 3, the ceiling was this color, the pole near my car was this color. I'm going to remember like where my car is. You can do that in houses for people who have issues with their memory. So that being said, she invites the PT students every year, and she has individuals who are from whatever population, whether it's a veteran population, older adult population, or a population that has cognitive impairments. And they're all part of this design process. And it's fascinating because they would never interact in any other way. And they work together for 12 hours, they stay up all night, and they come back with an actual product.
That's cool.
Wow.
It's very cool. But they get a lot of value from
You're not
the
gonna
PT
forget that.
student. Right, because the PT student's like, oh, well, this is the therapeutic. And they're like, oh, well, I can do that with color. And the PT student's like, say what?
Right.
Color.
Well, there's another example that I know you're deeply embedded with that does that in action, which is Go Baby Go, which is if you're not familiar with Go Baby Go, you take a child who might need, I guess, movement disability, right? Like movement limitation, and then you take an off-the-shelf battery-powered car or quad, and then you say, we need to make this therapeutic for this human, and not all humans are alike, but these stock cars are the same, and then you spend the next couple of hours sort of modifying and changing that, but you wouldn't maybe have thought. I think one of the good examples was you were trying to promote standing, and there was a quad, not a car, and they reverse engineered the switch so when the child stood up, it moved. The ATV moved,
Right, because
and when he sat down,
he was weak in standing, so we wanted him to stand. So it was like fun when the car was moving, and he would get really annoyed if he sat down because the car would stop.
Yeah.
So
Innovation.
I might have started a small fire in my office trying to make that car, but it worked in the end.
HR does not need to be notified of that.
Nobody will know. It stays right here.
So this is the Future of Rehab Therapy Summit.
Forts.
Created by a guy who's an Army physical therapist, and the acronym is FORT. Very well done, Drew Contreras. What do you hope as somebody who is the front? The board is the front wheel of the bicycle, right? Right. in that analogy?
The steering.
The steering, right?
Yes.
So what do you, and you don't have to speak for the board, you can speak for yourself. What do you hope what would you hope this event sort of looks like in 3 to 5 years?
I hope that we get a whole different cast of characters, if you will, that come. Because
we do have events in our profession and others that the same people show up over and over again.
Absolutely.
And it feels cool to be around those people, but it's not necessarily, it doesn't really promote innovation all the time.
And I would say, without, being scripted, I would say this is sort of like the alternative conference. I would like to see this be infused with our major conference at some point in some shape
way
or fashion, right? Like maybe this is like a track or an option that people at CSM could be able to do. And I think that we have created a sort of very rote way that we think about and we go about what the exhibit hall is. And I think that we can turn that on its head and completely flip it 180 and make it a way to have these more interactive experiences and really have meaningful opportunities to think creatively. So I would like to see that this sort of acts like as a spark to think about conferences in a completely different way. Because we clearly see, people want to be back in person. People want to be at conferences. Oh, the
pendulum is swung, man. Yeah.
And they don't necessarily want to sit in a room and be talked to.
No, they do not.
So they want to see who is it here that has similar interests to me or who here is completely different than me, and we can learn something from each other. So that's my hope for the future.
I'm so confused. There's a woman with a cane with a flashlight on it, and I've got to go ask her why she has the flashlight on all day. But maybe that's her marketing strategy, which would be brilliant.
It both literally and figuratively.
I see what you did there. If you need someone to go to a bunch of conferences and find the innovative stuff, I volunteer. I like going to conferences.
I like going to conferences too. So
most conferences have happy hours, and I'm a big fan of that.
Which we're at right now.
Which we are quite literally at right now.
And happy hours is where all the important stuff happens.
It's the best conversations.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions? Do you want to
I do not.
Do you want to force Skye to do her parting shot?
Let me do the honors.
All right,
Skye.
go ahead.
This is the parting shot.
What's your parting shot? Do your quote again.
Tradition.
Drop your quote.
No, wait.
Oh, go ahead.
PTA plus, it's the plus point.
Oh, they call it plus point.
The plus point. The plus point. Innovation is not just a buzzword. It is a responsibility. First time I've ever been quoted back to myself, so I had to do it again.
Yeah, love it.
Did you cite yourself?
Yeah, where was that citation?
Donovan.
Large language models are known to every once in a while create citations. Well, we're still not over that yet. But Skye Donovan, thanks for making some time for us.
Always.
At the Fort's Happy Hour. Cheers.
Thanks, Skye.
Thank you. Cheers.
This is the PT Pinecast.
This isn't another online CEU course. Brooks IHL gives you hands-on mentorship, multi-site training, and a full paycheck while prepping for board certification. Find your fit at brooksihl.org. There aren't nearly enough podcasts in this world. Said no one. Why not launch one more? If you thought about launching a show but don't quite know how, we can help you do all that back-end stuff. Email me at jimmy@ptpintcast.com, and we can add one more podcast no one else will listen to the pile.